All right, I figured I'd just record this video talking about the Canon R5C and my thoughts on it as a cinematographer and a creative. This is the Canon R5C. It's the workhorse camera that I've been using for the past 3 months, day and night. I want to talk about first the things that I thought was really strong about this camera. This camera is designed for the cinematographer in mind. What I really like about this camera is the form factor, because it's thought out in a way that's literally an R5 right here with fan. And then on the edge, that fan has a little lip, and then that's where your screen lays. But other than that, you have a very solid built camera that I think is really well designed. I think the grip is taking the best parts of the R5 and implementing them in a cinema grip. You have your video controls, and then everything else here is programmable to any setting in the camera, which is not the case for the R5, which is what I think makes it so unbelievably strong and well designed and thought out. One of the things that I love about this camera is the user interface. I think the user interface is one of the best thought out systems I've ever used. It's super easy to use. I have all the buttons mapped to certain functions that make it super easy, and I really enjoy shooting with this camera. On the side, you have your ports, which is standard USB-C, mini HDMI, mic jack, and headphone jack. So you're not getting XLR, but you can't win them all, in my opinion. The other thing I really like is this video and photo dial here. The R5 Mark II actually just came out and implements the same thing. It has its benefits and drawbacks. It's nice and it's simple to just flip, but it gets bumped in my bag, which I am not a fan of. So another thing I really liked was the RF lens mount. So this camera has an RF mount right there. What that basically gets you is the ability to adapt almost any lens to it. From a design perspective and also from a menu perspective, shooting with an actual quote-unquote cinema camera in the brain, aka the software, gets you controls like zebras, false color, digitally zooming in while filming, access to menus while filming, adjust your audio on the fly, a lot of things that Canon has soft locked from their cameras for quite a while, just for the sake of getting you to buy a cinema version of their cameras. Now, what are some of the drawbacks? 100% the killer of this camera is power. So one of the main issues is this camera doesn't provide enough power on its batteries, and you can burn through batteries in 45 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to solve this issue. We have an IU battery, which is important because it has 30 watts power delivery. And then we have that on a small rig clamp that's on my tripod. So this is just literally a super clamp that's on here. And then we have a Condor Blue 7.4 cable, just to make sure we get that power delivery, going into the USB-C port here. We'll go into LCD luminance and turn that up all the way. My number 2 complaint is the dynamic range. This sensor, my goodness, it needs a refresh because it feels like 11 stops of dynamic range. I rarely ever can film the brightest and the darkest parts of the image at the same time. But at the same time, you can't win them all, I understand. This is pretty much just, R5 with some R&D and a new design body. This camera is very not talked about enough, I don't think. Overall, I really do like the camera. I don't really have that many actual issues with it, I would say. And it's been really fun to shoot with versus the R5. And I've been learning a lot more cinematography tools with it than I would on an R5. So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts.